record button. So now what I'm doing is I'm recording everything that happens on the screen. And it's recording audio. So, first thing I do when I start class, hit record. Let it record the whole class period. At the end of class, I upload as a video, put it on YouTube. Students can come back and listen to and see what was happening on the surface of my tablet. All those laser pointer moves, the writing shows up as the video progresses. It's like watching class. There's just no faces. It doesn't record me. It just records what's happening. What I see here, what you see there is what the video is.
So it records your voice. Can it record, like, if I'm asking you this question right now, it can record
It's
that?
picking you up, yeah.
Okay.
So you'll hear yourself when you look at this video later tonight after I upload it to YouTube. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the premium version
But
of this?
I will usually restate the question in a large class to make sure that the question's recorded before I answer it. But this app, Explain Everything, also costs
$6.92.
Yeah, it's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, this is inexpensive.
So, not a question, actually a statement.
Yes.
For the kind of older school people like me who use PowerPoint. Camtasia, which we all had to get for this, now is a PowerPoint add-in, and it basically works the same as Explain Everything, where you just hit record and it'll do all of that same stuff.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Yep.
Camtasia works with PowerPoint.
Yes.
Versus this is working with.
Well, Camtasia will work with anything, but it's really slick with PowerPoint. This
Yeah.
is right in there.
And PowerPoint by itself without Camtasia can also record audio while you flip through slides. It's just not as, you can't annotate as easily, you
Well,
can't
yeah,
draw on it.
Camtasia, you can go in and fix your audio quality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Using your tablet, an iPad would be just the same, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you could use Surface. I've presented with my iPhone before. Explain Everything for Apple is an iOS device, or it's an iOS app. So you can't run it on a laptop, but it is also available for other operating systems. It's not just Apple. So, by way of introduction, hi everybody. I'm Joe Ross. I'm an associate professor of biology. I teach genetics, evolution, developmental biology. My class sizes are usually between 30 and 80. So I teach some smaller-ish classes and some sort of medium-sized classes. And I was in the first cohort of DISCOVERe faculty, so welcome to the program. I know most of you are probably already teaching with technology in some way anyway, but welcome. It's good to have you all here. And so I've been doing this since 2014 when DISCOVERe was launched. And since then I've been doing a lot of other things. I write a blog, tabletpedagogy.blogspot.com. I'm trying to move away from the tablet pedagogy because it's not a tablet program anymore. So I've renamed the blog. I'll give you some links to resources later in the workshop. But you can always get in touch with me. I'm always happy to talk with you one-on-one, answer questions outside of the workshop, whatever, just let me know. My email address, my Twitter handle. I'm always happy to chat about ed tech. So one of the things that I love about using videos for instruction, not just lecture, I think the schedule still says this is about lecture videos or something like that. Maybe Dermot changed it, I asked him to. I like it because I think tablets can help school become cool. This is an old version of a tablet, by the way. You may not recognize the chalkboard in the lift-up school desk, but last summer, my family went up to Canada, and there was one of the towns we were in, Alaska, actually. It was a kind of like an old schoolhouse. It was kind of a museum, and one of my daughters found that in the desk, and she loves school, so she wrote "School is Cool" on the tablet, and I thought, that's really fitting. So that's the goal. Basically, to use movies and videos to engage as opposed to put students to sleep. Yeah. So I'm hoping then that the outcomes that we'll get by the end of this 45 minutes or so is that you'll identify some technologies that you can use to create videos if that's what you want to do, and to explain or come up with reasons why videos are useful for educational purposes. They're not just gimmicks or toys. They can be, but there are some things we can do to help prevent that a little bit. Maybe to think of some pros and cons for using videos. See if you are not already committed to using videos, should you use videos? Do you think it's in your best interest, or are there more cons than pros? And then maybe, we may not have time to get to these deliverables, but to develop an idea of how you would use, a specific idea of how you would use a video in a course. And I'm hoping, think about what changes you might have to make to your syllabus. Have you already talked about Discovery syllabi? Well, videos maybe adds another layer to things that you might need to talk about in your syllabus, so we might get there. And then likewise, what support structures, what sorts of training or opportunities maybe do you need to give if you're going to use videos associated with a class? The QR code and the URL there are to a PDF that's a worksheet for you to list your pros and cons and fill in to try to achieve these outcomes. If you are not comfortable already, this is bad Discovery instructor, if you're not already comfortable with downloading a PDF and writing on it on your device, you can definitely download the PDF and have it as a resource. I also brought print copies. So if anybody does not want to try to take notes on a PDF at this time, I will definitely give you a paper version of the exact same worksheet.
I don't need a paper version, but I downloaded it on my iPhone,
Yep.
which most students will do.
Yes.
And where do they go from?
This is why one of the things that you might consider about changing your syllabus is building in, at the start of the semester, time for students to learn how to do these sorts of techniques in class with Discovery Guides on the go. So you can ask the Discovery Guides on the go to come into your Discovery class and help with these sorts of technical questions, so that you don't have to stop instructing and do tech support.
Sure. But how do I do that now?
I'm too dumb to figure out how to use this.
So that's why I'm not, so this is why I'm a bad Discovery instructor, because I'm not gonna stop and help lead you through the technical, because it takes about 5 minutes for me to show you how to do
Okay.
it. So if you would want a paper version, you can at least, you can see it, but if you wanna take notes, go for the paper version.
editable, right?
PDF you can write on, it depends on the apps that you've got installed on your device.
Yeah, I only have the.
That's the question I have. Is it, are your PDFs editable?
Any, there are,
Oh, you're not?
yes, any PDF you can open on any device, depending on the app you're opening it in, those apps will have like a pen tool where you could write on any PDF. Regardless of whether the PDF has, for example, blanks that you could type in. But any PDF can be opened in, for example, Adobe Acrobat is a great app to have on your device, because you can use those to edit. So now, if this was not a 45-minute workshop, and if the focus wasn't on movies, I would definitely stop and help everybody learn how to edit PDFs on your device. And that's why I'm saying I'm a bad Discovery instructor, because the first week of my class, I rely on students to download PDFs so that I don't have to print out and hand out paper all the time. And we do lots of worksheets and activities in class. So I devote the first week of my class to practicing these workflows, no stakes. So I'll have example exercises that we do in class, and they just have to turn them back into me, edited. It's not for points, it's just I want to make sure that everybody knows how to do it so that as we proceed through the semester, everybody's on an equal playing field, level footing. So this is more an example of what you can do in a Discovery course. It doesn't have to do with videos. And always have a backup plan. Because when a student, guaranteed, of course, will show up and their device will not be charged, or they'll be having some other technical difficulty, always good to have paper on hand. All right, so getting into videos then. How do I use videos? So this is a day in the life of one of my Discovery classes. I need to tell you this because the educational philosophy I have about instruction dictates how I decide to use videos. Take it with a grain of salt. You will do something different than I do. But I use a flipped classroom approach for most of my classes, which means I want the students to access the material on their own before class. In class, there's no lecturing. I talk, I will answer questions, but I try not to do what I'm doing right now, is explaining and talking and lecturing. So during class, at the start of every class, minus 10 minutes before class starts, in class, I'll have a Socrative activity. I want to assess what students learned or didn't learn from what they were supposed to have read or watched, in the case of videos, right before class. Then I will use, as I'm doing now, explain everything to present whatever little responses to questions. I'll draw out formulas if I need to, or diagrams. And then we'll go into a series of looped exercises and discussion. So we'll have an exercise that they'll do, small group work, think, pair, share, some active learning approach. We'll get back together, we'll have question and answer time, and by the end of class, I'm asking them to complete another one of those Socrative activities for feedback for me for the day. What do students still have questions about, maybe that they didn't get satisfactory answers to during the class period, and then pointing them forward to the next class. Then outside of class, they do a lot of online, so collaborative work. I use Google Docs to have students collaborate together outside of class to create, in my case, although again, not video related, the ideal set of notes. I ask students to form small groups at the start of the semester and create a shared Google Doc, and then they collaboratively edit their class notes for the whole semester. It gets mixed reviews. Some people like it, some people don't. But I also FaceTime with students. So if students can't make it to office hours, they can FaceTime me during office hours, or Zoom, which you have a session for, I believe, this afternoon. Oh, no, that was, did anyone go to the Zoom one last session? Okay, so you know that that's one way to create videos already. We've got a site license for Zoom. It's free for us. It's free for students. And you can record your, if you want to do online office hours, you can record them. I would advocate for recording those and uploading them to YouTube so that other students can benefit from whatever questions were asked and your answers that you gave during office hours. Students will also watch a number of other videos that I've created for my class, although it could be any video. It doesn't have to be instructor created. YouTube videos, textbook course materials. A lot of textbooks come with videos these days. And then after they've watched videos, I access the YouTube analytics. There's a graph there. I know you can't see it. It's not important. It's just an icon. I can see what students have watched. I can go in and look at how many students watched the video, which parts of the video did they watch more than others, to try to prepare myself for trying to figure out what is it that they get and what is it that they don't understand. If a lot of people are watching the same section of the video more than others, I'm guessing that's probably something, as we go into class, I should be prepared to talk about more. So then I use that YouTube analytics feedback to prepare myself for entering class the next day. So this is loop. Students watch videos before class, we talk about the videos and do exercises in class.
So one of the problems that I had this semester in a very large DE class that I was teaching, at 164 students, is that they were not doing their before class activity.
Right.
Like, very small amount of the students were doing the readings on the schedule as they were assigned.
Yeah.
So what do you do in a situation where they're not doing their before class activity?
Okay. Any suggestions from the audience? I know what I would do, but this is a collaborative brainstorming session too.
Quiz?
Yeah.
Right. So so that's often what people will do is have some sort of small stakes check. Did you do what you were supposed to do? To just give it a little bit of, or a lot, depending on your perspective on how the class should be taught. I will often use those Socrative activities like we did at the start of this workshop. One of the questions will be something easy from maybe near the end of the video that everybody would definitely remember if they had watched it. Something simple. Just put that question in the entry quiz for the day, that class, and make that worth points, or not. I sometimes don't grade them, I sometimes do grade them. Another thing which I will happily show you in just a little bit, but I'll tell you now, is what I'm starting to do. I haven't done this in classes yet. I'm just playing with it at this point, is using tools that you can use to embed questions in videos, which some of you maybe have experienced. I've got an example that doesn't really work. For some reason, it doesn't project well through Apple TV, but I've started using some of those. Those would be great because you collect in-video responses from students. So you can see who got to that question in the video, what did they answer. So you can see how students maybe tail off over time, but that maybe will motivate student adherence to your requests. Putting some points behind it, yes. And really, I think video is more engaging than textbook. So if it's, do they read the textbook or not, that's one of my hopes, is that video is more engaging than textbook. And I have some data from my classes that suggest that in my hands that's true, but again, that might not work for everybody. So here's where we get to some specific examples. I'm not going to show you videos, oddly, but like I said, for some reason they're not playing through the Apple TV at the moment. I'm providing URLs for all of these examples, though. So afterwards, when you go look at this video on YouTube, then you can check out this recorded video, and you can also access these videos, or you can type in the URLs if you want to. I wouldn't worry about it at this point. So using Explain Everything, this app, or PowerPoint and Camtasia, or whatever platform you want, I record lectures. Yeah, certainly. So I go into class, I record what I say, I record as students are asking me questions, I record my answers, I upload that to YouTube every day. No editing. It is what it is. If I made a mistake, that's part of the video. I own it. I use it as a teaching moment. So I don't edit the video, I just upload the whole thing, no edits. It's on YouTube, students use them. Then I started realizing, okay, what else can I do besides in classroom use? So next on the list, key, exam keys. I started realizing about 4 years ago, well, I'm printing out a paper version of the exam, and I'm writing the answers on it, and then I'm scanning it and uploading it to Blackboard so students can download the key and see how, compare their answers to my answers and where did they go wrong. Thought, well, as I'm writing the questions, I might as well be opening the exam in Explain Everything, and then using the pen to say question 1, the correct answer is A, and the correct answer A is because. But as I'm actually filling in the written answers to the questions, I'm talking, and I'm explaining the rationale for why that answer is the correct answer. That's saved as part of the recording, and then I upload this as a movie. So it's an exam key, but it's a movie. So the students don't just get the static, this was the correct answer. And again, the importance of this will differ by discipline. English, literature, composition, maybe not so much as something where there's like chemistry, physics, math, engineering, I don't know. Be creative. But students can see me work through the problem. So certainly this could work for literature as well. Why was your answer not up to my standards for an A? Why was it a B? So I use this for key capture, and I post that on YouTube. Students check the key afterwards to see how they did. And then office hours as well. So just like we're talking now and I'm recording, I'm drawing on the tablet and it's showing up and being recorded, students come to my office hours, especially in DISCOVERe classes, they can connect to my computer, or we can just draw together on one tablet if we don't want to do fancy collaborative stuff. I record that. And I upload that to YouTube too, so that students that didn't come to office hours can still benefit from the questions that students that could come asked and my answers to their questions. So basically everything I do, I record and I post on YouTube. Yeah.
So if you have a student that comes to office hours, do you have to ask the permission before you can record the session and post it to YouTube?
I don't, but that is definitely a gray area. So it's worth thinking about. I have not received formal guidance about the legality of that. I think one of the things that saves us is that, yes, it's recording voices, but it's not identified, unless the student says their own name, I suspect that that's probably okay. It's just an anonymous voice asking a question. Maybe. I'm not a lawyer, but great question. Yes, so speaking of syllabus additions, if you want to do this sort of thing, you might add that to your syllabus. So my syllabi all say things like, I record class sessions. And you could be very explicit. You could say, therefore, there's a possibility that your voice would be recorded. Okay.
So, in theory.
You're right.
In theory, you would have to get
Collect consent.
Yeah, I know in the studio that I work in, a lot of times students want to record a resume tape in the control room, and they have to ask permission from everybody who's in the control room to say, is it okay if I record you for this project that may or may not ever be shown
Right.
anywhere else. But-
Yeah. Let's see, what else do we?
Blanket waiver on first day of class in general.
Well, and see, because I do IRB approved human subjects research with all of my discovery classes, that's built into my IRB consent form. But again, yeah, if you want to do this on your own, you might consider what you would want to do if you want to legally do this.
Question?
Please.
So what about the use of copyrighted materials? Because, I mean, textbooks come with, you just said you use textbook videos and you're basically.
I don't anymore, but you're absolutely, that's a great question. Yeah, so if you're putting out a recording that contains some textbook figures as part of your presentation that you've uploaded, it's a great question. I've never been busted, but I would stop if I got a legal.
Yeah, but could you maybe get down with how you make your YouTubes available, like make them not public and make them so that only your students can access the videos through
Right.
links and such?
So it is possible. I'm not going to give you a definitive answer because I don't know the laws, but yes, so when you upload a video to YouTube, you can choose to make it publicly available or private, or locked. So you'd want private, where only people with the link can access the video. And if you only gave that link to your students, maybe you're okay. But if one of your students posted the link somewhere publicly and said, hey, there's this great video on YouTube, then everyone would have the link. So, what CFE would probably tell you is that Fresno State also has their own streaming server. So if you wanted students only to have access to it, you might do something like post the video on the Fresno State streaming server and or post the URL somewhere that is password protected, like on Canvas. So that you know that the only people that have access to the URL are students who have Fresno State credentials and can log
They
in.
can download it as well from Canvas.
If they want to be creative, they can download any video from YouTube using all that special software that I'm not going to mention by name because I'm recording right now. But yes, so right, anything that goes up on YouTube could be downloaded.
If they haven't accessed any video, they can still.
Right. Well, and that's the nice thing is that any of us can access any video and use it for instruction if it's on YouTube.
Unless, can we put in our syllabus, upload lecture videos?
So there are Fresno State policies about consent. In fact, I think Dr. Neff's most recent email had something in it about, or one of his most recent emails had something in it about consent for recording.
Yeah.
There was this, I remember about a month or so ago. So maybe there had been an issue. But so short answer, Fresno State does have policies about consent to record. And I know that for a long time, the Fresno State syllabus template had language, and my syllabus template has forever, language about if you want to record, you must obtain my written permission to do so. But now that I record everything anyway, I've kind of, like, I don't care. Sure, record me. But again, that's my opinion. That's not something that you have to adopt.
So you do the webinar and then you have a way, right, everything and more topics can be available to students, then in that case, all the materials belong to you, have nothing to do with the textbook or.
Right. So that's one of the reasons that I like some of these types of videos, like lecture capture. So yes, if you use textbook graphics, right, that's for me a legal gray area, but it's, I think, black and white and no-no to reproduce copyrighted works. And I know that much about copyright. So maybe it's okay if you post these videos in only password accessible places.
Yeah, but as long as it's for education purpose and you don't,
So then you've got the fair use argument.
and you don't sell it, there's no
Right.
income related.
Yeah. So the probability that anybody gets a slap on the wrist by a textbook company who says you're costing us X amount of money because the students aren't buying the material, it depends on how you use it. Yeah. So another way that I use videos, just one more example, and then we'll move on to the next thing, is, so I lecture capture, yes. I use the Fresno State Lightboard, which I'll show you an example of in a few slides. Unfortunately, like I said, not a video, but I'll give you the URL. You can see the video. is I create class trailers. So in addition to micro lectures, which are 10 to 20 minute me talking, videos that I ask students to watch before class, and I quiz them on it, is I've recorded some sort of 30-second to 1 minute brief, it's like a trailer for a video. This is what we're going to do in class. An introduction to prepare yourself. This is the topic we're going to be talking about, literally just about that quick. And I start them all with something puzzling, like, did you ever wonder what it's like to be colorblind? Right? Something maybe that will get their attention. So in class, we're going to be talking about the genetics of mutations and how they call colorblindness, and I'll give you some examples of what colorblindness looks like to a colorblind person. And I'll always end every one of those 30-second videos with a question. So I'll pose a question verbally. I'll say, please come to class, be prepared to discuss, fill in the blank. Just to try to get the students all on the same page so when they walk in the room, they know what we're going to be doing in class. And hopefully I've chosen an example that will pique their interest, that will make them excited to come to class and learn about whatever. Colorblindness, the inheritance of breast cancer, something in my... So I'm not going to play this video because, like I said, unfortunately, it doesn't work. But the point is, this is one of the tools, playposit.com, that lets you take any video, yours or somebody else's. If I remember correctly, you can actually feed this a YouTube URL of a video, and you can insert questions into a video. And there are many different tools that you can use. The PlayPosit is certainly not the only one. So I'm going to press play. You're not going to see the video move. It's moving on my tablet, but it's going to show you black. But you'll see the video up here is playing. It works well when it's projected from a laptop for some reason. And then at some point after I've explained whatever it is I'm talking about, it's going to pause and a quiz is going to pop up. And then the students answer the question, and only then can they move on and watch the rest of the video. So in response to your earlier question, this is one of those ways that you might enforce use of videos, as well as collect student information. Did they get the concept or not? PlayPosit has a web dashboard that collects all the student responses, so you can go on the web and look at the student responses. There are other tools that export Google Sheets. They collect all of the data in Google Sheets, and then you can open that in Google. So this can be another really useful and engaging and interactive tool that makes it a little bit more than, okay, I'm going to watch the instructor's 30-minute video. It's short video, here's a 5-minute video, and embed a few questions. The more PlayPosit is free if you want to do multiple choice, true, false. If you want to do more advanced questions, then of course they jack up the price a little bit, but you can do things like free response questions. And some tools, I think PlayPosit does it, but some other of these websites will let you have students have optional skipping. So you can say, oh, I don't want to watch the next, you'll say the next section coming up is this, this, or this. They can choose, oh, I don't need to see that section. Skip me to part 3 of the video, or skip me to part 5. So there's some advanced navigation things that you can do pretty inexpensively as an instructor. Students don't need to pay for this. And the nice thing about PlayPosit is there's no logging in. Nobody needs to create accounts. Well, you do. Students don't. All you do is you share your video, you give the students the URL, like I did. They go in, they press play, they watch the video, they answer questions.
So then how do you know what they answered if they're not logging in and creating the name?
Then you ask, one of the questions maybe at the start of the quiz is, what is your name? What is your student ID number?
Okay.
And then that would be recorded as part of their responses.
Yeah.
And there are other systems that are more advanced that would, for example, let you upload a roster. And then everything would be connected.
Yeah, you start like to type your student number.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, if you want to use this for enforcing use, yeah, exactly. Then you could do that. Although that is not cheat-proof by any means, because you could say, oh, I'm somebody else, and type in their name, and, right, there's all... We think we can control our environments, but which slide was it? Not really. Okay. So this is a great spot. Let's see, we've got about 13 minutes left. This is a great spot, I think, to pause and ask, what are some costs, pros and cons, costs, benefits, why use video, why not use video? What are some of your concerns?
experience making videos is, and something you didn't really touch upon, but I'm sure you do, is the captioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes, I mean, YouTube's terrible, especially with the sciences.
Yep.
You cannot understand the word milliliter.
Right.
But it takes a lot of time to correct it. So
Yep.
I think sounds really, blue sky and easy. Oh, I just hit record and I just talk about my lesson and I just stop it. But it's not as simple as that, because we do have to have accessibility and
Right.
all that.
So I have not yet, that's an excellent point, and captioning is definitely one of those things to consider when you're thinking about taking on this sort of approach. If you're going to do videos in the classroom, start small, as with everything course redesign, not just technology and especially not just discovery and certainly not just videos. Do something that you think you can maintain through the whole semester. Because in my experience and the experience of peers that I've talked to, if you commit early and then you kind of let it slide towards the end of the semester, students don't usually look that favorably on it. They're neutral. It's neutral or worse. It's never positive that you've given up on something you started at the beginning of the term. So it's better to think small, try it out, and then ramp it up in future semesters if you want to.
Yeah, like maybe just record like your review lessons.
Yeah, something like that. It took me at least 3 years to create the set of pre-class lecture videos that I now ask my students to watch, so it's not a short-term investment. The other thing is, for myself, and I can't say that this is the position of the university or that this is legally defensible, I think it makes sense, but we'll see. If it's lecture capture, office hour capture, I don't caption it. And that's because it's recorded in the manner it was delivered. It was video and it was audio. I have not been in a class yet where there's been a sign interpreter. So if there was a sign interpreter, I probably would have to record the interpreter as well.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the format of the class is visual and audio. And that's exactly what I'm recording.
It's not mandatory to have captions. Well, it depends which kind of students you have. Like, if they cannot hear well, then you have to.
Right.
I mean, you do make a good point, though. Because the argument for captioning is that it's not just for the auditory impaired.
That's
but
true.
It's also for second
It's-
language and all
it's
that.
for
You
everybody.
have the same problem if they're sitting in your lecture hall.
That's right.
And if you don't really record, you just speak people.
They don't have anything. so
Right.
it's better than nothing.
So again, right, the gray area, I don't know if it's legally defensible, but that's my practice. But if I create a video that I require students to watch before class, I caption it.
Yeah.
So anything made outside the classroom, especially if it's mandatory to watch, then I do caption it. And one of my secret weapons, especially for those of you that are Mac people, Apple people, is Clips. If you don't know what the Clips app is, it's your best friend.
What is it?
It's a social media video creation app that has real-time captioning. And there are other tools, it's not just Apple, but I know other platforms have started doing this. I think one of the Google apps maybe does this also now. For Apple products, it uses the Siri voice engine to listen to what you're saying and transcribes it in the video as you're recording the video. So the words show up as you're saying them, as the phone is listening to your words and transcribing them into text. So when I make those short little class trailer videos, 30 seconds, this is what we're going to do in class, I just record those with Clips.
And then you.
It's a free app. It's an Apple-created app. It's probably not installed on every iPhone or iPad, but it's available for free.
Can you, on some of these, I thought on Zoom, and maybe I just don't use it very much, so when they do the captioning, when it makes mistakes, can you edit that?
Yes.
In every program?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Because I mean, on Zoom.
YouTube, yes. Clips, yes.
Zoom could be, Camtasia again?
Well,
I
maybe you upload to YouTube and then YouTube does the.
But then you can definitely get into YouTube's text transcript and edit.
Siri butchers my text
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time.
Yes,
So
I've-
Siri does not understand
She
me at
does
all.
not like me.
I've had some,
Yes, there is.
So you can edit it?
yes.
Okay.
There is.
So then basically it's just an audio recording. You click with your video.
So clips. Tell you what, I'll show you, can I show you afterwards? I'll just briefly demo it for you. Anybody who's interested, we can come up afterwards. I'll show you how clips works, briefly. And then we'll go eat pizza. I think pizza's on the menu today.
No, that was yesterday.
Pasta. Pizza, pasta. It's all carbs. Okay. Let's see. 5 more minutes. So, I told you I was going to show you an example of Lightboard. This, again, is a still. It's not the video. Here's the link to the video if you want. And again, I'm uploading this as this whole presentation is a video later. So if you come to my YouTube channel by this evening, you can re-listen to this whole thing. You can pause it and write down the links if you want. Also, on the last page of the PDF handout or the paper handout is also the list of URLs that are my blogs, my YouTube channel, more information. Yeah. So this is me using the Lightboard, but it's available to everybody. This technology, it's downstairs on the ground floor behind the circulation desk. Eric West, who's one of our campus videographers, runs this facility. It's a recording studio, small recording studio. And what it is me standing behind a piece of glass, and there's a video camera pointing at me from the other side of the glass. So I write on the glass using these fluorescent colored markers. This piece of glass is lit from around the edge by LED lights, so it makes the ink really pop. And then there's a black canvas behind me, black backdrop. So it's pretty engaging, mainly because they see me. This is the only time that I create videos where the students see me. And I'm looking at the camera, so I'm kind of looking at them. They like these videos, they find them pretty engaging. And then, so what I do is I start on this side of the glass board, and I write and I talk and I diagram things like this, right? So to you, you're the video camera, I'm writing which direction to you.
Backwards, that's what I was gonna ask.
Right, so it looks forwards to me, so then at the end of recording, Eric takes the video and flips it that way. So that I am backwards.
Mirrors it.
This is my,
Sorry.
that side. I'm asymmetric, so if you know me, you can tell that I look backwards in this video, but the writing then appears forward to you. So that's it.
Oh,
It's
so
just-
he just mirrors the whole
Yeah,
video?
he just takes the video file and goes,
Oh, okay.
that's it.
So don't wear a shirt with words on it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah,
I've seen that now.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense.
yeah.
'Cause I've
And
seen
I
this
get-
on YouTube.
I get students from around the world that watch these because I post them publicly on YouTube, and like a quarter of the comments are, how do you get so good at writing backwards? The rest of them are very positive comments, but like you could show up in this part of the board. You could have like a picture of painting, electrical diagram, if you didn't want to draw it out yourself. And then, now it doesn't project onto the piece of glass. He adds it in on the side as part of the video editing process. So what I'm doing when I'm standing here looking at the glass, there's a monitor over there where I can see what I look like from the video camera perspective. So it's like weather casting, right?
So you
Like
can't
green
interact
screen.
with the image.
You can draw on top of it. You can see where it's going to show up.
Like, if I
relative
had a
to you.
diagram of a building, I can start labeling
Yeah.
parts of it because I can see it.
Yes.
It's not right here,
It's not on a piece of glass, it's on that TV screen over there where you can see what the final product looks like.
So I can see myself interact, so I can kind of, okay.
Yeah. It's
That's not
exactly
bad.
like weather casting. You have to know exactly where that sun icon is to point at it accurately.
We're gonna have rain over here.
Yeah, exactly. And over there somewhere.
If you ever want to play weather person, you can down to the studio if you know.
My son did that last year.
So
Yeah.
how do you sign up for time to do the Lightboard thing?
Email Eric West. eWest, I think is his
And you just
username.
basically, there are just time slots and then you just go in and do it?
So few people use it that there's not even a sign-up process. I just email Eric and say, hey, I'm free this day, this time, can I stop by, are you busy? Now, of course, now that I've told everybody in 2 back-to-back workshops, there may be more of a line. But the nice thing is that there are probably maybe 5 instructors on campus. This has been around for 2 years now. I think there are maybe 5, maybe 7, Eric would know, instructors that have used the Lightboard. It was not used very much. And once I made the videos, I'm done using the Lightboard. I've made my set class of videos for this topic. Now, for another class, I would have to do that. But this is why captioning is really useful, because once you create the video, and once you invest the time in captioning, that is a static resource that you can use forever. The captions and the video.
Are the markers the only thing that can be used?
No. About a year ago, Eric bought a fancy piece of video technology that lets you project, well, it doesn't project, it lets you show, for example, a picture or a diagram or a figure. It shows up.
During the summer camp, you said it was so
Awesome. So that's about it. Didn't get all the way through. I've got some fantastic statistics I could give you about how much students love this stuff, but to close, I would like to ask you to go back to socrative.com in just a minute. I have to open this quiz one more time. Hang on. Almost there. It's about how quickly it goes. All right, so socrative.com/student. Might have that. So one of the things that I didn't get a really great chance to describe here is the fact that YouTube is awesome, and that when you upload videos to YouTube, you get an analytics pane where you get all sorts of data about your videos. So you can go see, for an individual video, 100% of students, this is not the same graph, but 100% of the students start watching at time 0. How does it fall off as time proceeds? And so you can see where students are starting to snooze and maybe navigate to a different movie. This is a graph of total view time, minutes, 0 minutes, 6,000 minutes per day, over 2014 when I started doing this to 2017. So you can see that there are spikes and not spikes. So there's not a consistent level of watching from day to day.
Yeah, during the semester, of course, they would watch.
Right, so here's August 29th, 2015, December 15th, 2015, right? So that's a semester. What are the peaks?
Final class.
Right? So, yeah, most students don't watch stuff, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's an exam. Phew! Right? In one day, there are 5,000 minutes of my videos watched.
One day.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, yes, and there are many more types of data you can get. Again, on a single day basis, it's even better. And one other thing that I really liked about this is, I don't need to use a whiteboard or a white dry erase marker. What am I doing? I could do this on here. So when you upload any video to YouTube, if you want to help students, especially if it's lecture capture or if it's a long video, it's nice to give students a table of contents. So when you upload a video to YouTube, there's a spot where you can paste in a text or type in a text description that shows up just underneath the video. So if you type in something that's in this sort of a format, like 0:00, 0 minutes, the start of the video, start of class. Minute 35, I'm lecturing about genetics. At 2 minutes and 43 seconds, there was a student question. I don't really fine scale table of contents every video, but I make these markers in the text that I paste in. And YouTube, of course, is smart enough to know that when you type in a time, it will hyperlink that to that spot in the video. So when a student starts watching the video, they can jump directly to which part of class is it that I had a question about. So they don't have to watch until 43 minutes to get to the spot, or they don't have to scrub back and forth and find that spot in the video they were looking for. You can help them jump there. And then when you're looking at a single day analytic graph, you can see 100% of students start watching, and then that maybe falls off really quickly. That's 0 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes. But then you can see a spike, and it falls off again. You're thinking, wait, how did 100% of students start watching, and then all of a sudden they started watching again? That's because all of your students are jumping to that marker that you left them in the table of contents. They're starting the video, and then they're saying, okay, I'm going to jump to this specific spot. So now you know what you better be prepared to talk about in class the next day, because that's the spot that the students are confused about. They may be watching that because they're confused about it. Sometimes that graph actually goes up over 100%. So if you see the graph go over 100%, it means that they're rewatching it. So you have X number of students start, that defines what 100% is. So if you've got 38 students in your class, 100% means 38. So if you wind up getting 200% views at this time point, if you've got like 90 views there, that means that students are rewatching it. Now they're confused about something, or there's a homework question about that topic and they're rewatching it. So, yep. Again.
So interesting.
Thank you. Yep. Happy to talk more, and if you want to check out clips, I'm going to stick around for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and you can go through that with me. But
Thank you.
lunch?
So lunch, and then also make sure you stop in the main room to see where the breakouts are for the afternoon. And then the first breakout's gonna be a little shorter because President Castro will be here at 1:30. So we'll just do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So is it okay if I send you an email asking for the blurb for the recording? I'm planning to record my lectures. I just want to see one perspective. I know
Yeah.
I don't have the IRB stuff, but
No, that's okay.
at least I can adapt that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
sent
J.
you-
Ross. Okay.
Yeah. No, I had already drafted.
Or to you on the right. Navigate. There we go.
Same question?
This one. It's the same questions. It's a different version of the quiz, but it's the same question. I want to know if I changed anybody's minds. Did we move the needle? So this is the point during class when I would be asking students, what did you, and there is actually a new question on here, is there something else you'd like to learn more about? The last question. It's free response. If you want to tell me something that I neglected to mention or you'd like more details about, let me know. And like I said at the start, I'm always happy to talk one-on-one, small groups. Come to you, you come to me, talk online. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, and it probably varies, but how often do students go back and rewatch a lecture? Not the ones that, obviously, that you require them to do, but the ones that you are just putting up there.